So continuing with solving inequalities with variables on both sides, same rules apply as when we were solving equations. Just the big thing here is if you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, you got to flip that inequality. So to get started here, we're just going to take care of distributive property. So 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times a negative 11x is negative 22x is less than 10. Minus 12x minus 15. So next up, we got to combine like terms here. So on the left side, we have some constants. I'm just going to write the x term first. So we have negative 22x plus 20 is less than negative 12x minus 5. All right, so next up, you got to decide, do you want to get your variables on the left or right? Do you want to try and keep the coefficient positive? So there's really not a good way to get this one done. It's going to be the same amount of work regardless of which way you go. So I'm going to add 12x to both sides. So now I have negative 10x plus 20 is less than negative 5. I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides then. And then divide both sides by negative 10. So when I divide both sides by negative 10, I got to make sure I write this as x is greater than, switch it from a less than to a greater than sign. Negative 25 divided by negative 10 is going to be positive 2.5. So you don't have to go real fancy here on the number line. That's what it should look like. All right, so next up, same deal again. First thing I'm going to do is distributive property on both sides here. So 6x, that's just going to come down. Take care of your distributive properties. We're going to get 5 minus 30x is greater than or equal to 13. Negative 2 times negative 1 is going to be positive 2 minus 26x. So 6x minus 30x then is negative 24x plus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 26x plus 15. All right, so next up, I would definitely add 26x to both sides here. That'll give us a positive 2x on the left. I don't have to worry about flipping anything then. So yeah, definitely add that 26x to both sides. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides to get 2x is greater than or equal to 10. Divide both sides by 2, and I end up with x is greater than or equal to positive 5. And that's what our graph should look like then. All right, so next up here, we got 18 plus 7x minus 6 minus 5x is less than or equal to 18 plus 3 times 1 plus x. So left side, you're just combining like terms. Start right side, you do have to take care of some distributive property. So we have 7x minus 5x is going to be 2x. 18 minus 6 is going to be 12. That's less than or equal to 18 plus 3 plus 3x. So we get 2x plus 12 equals 3x plus 21. At this point, it really doesn't matter what you do. If you subtract 2x from both sides, you're going to end up with x on the right. If you subtract 3x from both sides, you're going to end up with a negative 1x. So either way, we're going to have to do some rearranging then. So my suggestion here then would be I'm going to subtract 2x just to show you something here. Subtract 21 from both sides. So I get negative 9 is less than or equal to x. I always want to get my variable on the left side. So I'm going to change it to x is greater than or equal to negative 9. Okay? So again, you're always, when I switch from the variable to the right to the left, notice my inequality is pointing at negative 9. Here my inequality is still pointing at negative 9. And my graph is going to look like this. There's 0, there's negative 9. Solid circle at negative 9, everything to the right of that. All right, last up here, we're just solving plain old inequalities. Again, lots of combining like terms here. We have 4x minus 8x. We got 22 plus 42 on the right there, so it'll be 64. All right, so I would subtract 7x from both sides here. It's all right that we got a negative 11x. Either way, we're going to be rearranging stuff at the end here. So we get negative 11x minus 2, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Negative 11x is greater than 66. Divide both sides by negative 11. We get x is less than negative 6. All right, so last up we have a word problem here. It says phone company A charges customer $6.50 for each gigabyte of data, plus $40 line access for talking text. Phone company B charges $10.75 for each gigabyte data, plus $20 line access for talking text. So we're just comparing this for each month here. Okay, I'm trying to figure out which cell phone company is the cheapest. If you ever look at cell phone plans right now, it's usually always unlimited talk and text. The biggest variable in which you're going to pay for your plan is how much data are you going to use. Are you going to get pay per gigabyte, or are you going to do unlimited, stuff like that. So we want to write and solve an inequality to determine when B is less expensive than A. So let's write an equation for both B and A. So A is 650 a gigabyte. Let's just let x equal gigabytes here. Right. And I said you got to pay for the whole gigabyte. Maybe most of you realize when you have your cell phone that even if you go just a hair over, if you have a 4 gigabyte plan, if you go a hair over, they're charging you for 5 gigs. So, no mercy there. Anyway, you're going to have $40 plus the $6.50 per gig. B is going to be $20 plus the $10.75 per gig. We want to know when B is less expensive than A. Okay, so just like some observations here before we get started. To start the month, A is going to be more expensive right away. It's $40 right off the bat, plus $6.50 a gig. Company B is going to be cheaper right from the start because it's only $20 for the line access, but then it's more expensive per gig. So if I'm only going to use like a gigabyte of data, this one's going to be $30.75. This one's going to be $46. So earlier on, B is going to be cheaper. Just by making some early observations here, we're going to try and figure out exactly when that happens. But just looking at this, from the start, B is going to be cheaper, and then slowly they'll catch up to each other. And in the long run, like if you're a person that uses a ton of data here, A is going to be cheaper. Like if you're using, you probably want to start to look at the unlimited plans, but eventually A will be cheaper. So anyway, this is what we got to solve. So I'm going to subtract 650 from both sides. Subtract 20 from both sides. I'm just trying to save some space here. So then we got to do 20 divided by 4.25. So B is going to be cheaper when X is less than 4.7. So 0 to 4 gigs, B is cheaper. Again, we're right in the middle there. You got to pay for the whole gig. 5 or more, company A is cheaper. Okay, that's what we said. Right from the start, B is going to be cheaper, but eventually A will catch up over time. So if you're going to use 6 gigabytes of data a month, which company would you pick? We already said 5 or more, we're going to go with A, but if you want to check this out, A would be 40 plus 6.5 times 6. All right, type that in here. All right, again, this just reaffirms what we already said. We already said 5 or more gigabytes. You want to go with company A. We got $79 for 6 gigabytes with company A, $84.50 for company B. So company A is definitely your cheaper option there, and it's going to continue to be cheaper because once we're even at 6 gigabytes, you're going to keep adding 6.5 or 10.75. And again, probably once you're getting past like 6, 7 gigabytes on a cell phone plan, I don't know this for sure, but you probably just want to start looking at the unlimited plans. All right.